What's up, everybody? Welcome to iOS 3 Raw TV. Today, we're going to talk about sweeteners again. And the reason being is sweeteners tend to pop up. And I think that it's usually the IIFYM crowd that asks about it. And it's usually the IIFYM crowd that responds to the questions about, like, are artificial sweeteners safe? Do they help you gain weight? I've seen things like they release insulin, all this crap. Now, here's the deal. There are people out there, and the ones that defend using sweeteners are the IIFYM crowd, right? And what they like to do is they like to fit a narrative. So what I keep seeing is they say stuff like, do sweeteners help you gain, or do sweeteners cause you to gain weight? And they'll just attack that. Or do sweeteners cause an insulin release, right? And they'll attack that, or they'll attack that. They'll go after those. But my thing is, how, if at all, are sweeteners harmful? Now, the one that keeps popping up when you actually research it, and what we're going to do is we're going to stick to the websites like NIH and places that are peer-reviewed, meta-analysis. What they're doing is they're putting up legit studies. They're putting up legit things. Now, if you go and change your search from, do sweeteners release insulin, right? And you'll get the whole lowdown about, like, well, there's no studies that really show it releases insulin, right? Or if you go like, well, does a sweetener cause weight gain, etc., whatever the case, like these basic things, you're going to get one thing. If you change those keywords that you're searching to something like sweeteners effects on hormones, or do sweeteners affect hormones, specifically hormones, sweeteners and hormones. Is there a correlation between, if you have a sweetener, does it do anything hormonally? We're looking at, I think the IIFYM crowd, a lot of times it's about calories, right? Well, there's no calories. Therefore, if there's not a calorie in it, there's no sugar. So the sugar can't be broken down into glucose. So therefore, you can't release insulin because there's no glucose. And then there's glucagon, and that cannot counteract it. It's like they go through this whole big thing about one specific pathway of what it could do. But I'm going to talk to you guys today about something that you may not give a shit about this, but this is the truth. We're going to tell the truth today, which I think I was missing a lot. So if we go over here to nih.gov and we look up the first piece that we're looking at that says, studies in humans have found that artificial sweeteners cause changes in the release of a variety of hormones. They didn't say insulin. They said a variety of hormones. Now hang on, because we're going to get kind of deep into this. It's a complicated area of study that scientists haven't figured it all out yet. So this thing clearly states that, look, we're just scratching the surface, so we really don't fucking know. So these people that are out there saying, well, there's no proof this, no proof that yet, doesn't mean it's not fucking happening. And that's what I hate about these science people, is they don't think ahead. They think to what they can prove now. And that to me, that doesn't make them real scientists. It makes them people online reading the internet. A real scientist would be like, okay, it says they don't have all the information yet. So what could possibly be coming that they learn and they find soon? That's a real scientist. They're thinking ahead, not thinking about what the hell's already there and reading it off the fucking internet. Like, anyways. So, they haven't figured it all yet, but they do know eating sweet foods causes the body to release insulin, which helps process and absorb the sugar. Now, they're saying they're not sure in this article whether, and they don't know. They don't know the mechanisms behind how it works, but they do see that sweeteners, specifically aspartame, is the one that they keep going after, does change hormones. And we're going to go through this. Now, impacting one hormone can throw the rest of your hormones off. So let me just kind of put this out there. When you start taking testosterone, your body essentially stops making testosterone. Then you have to keep increasing the dose of testosterone to get it to keep doing the same things as your receptors get saturated, right? You get to a certain point that your testosterone is so far out of whack, it'll aromatize, your estrogen start to rise too. So now you're taking like an estrogen blocker on top of it, right? So you're changing your hormones. You stay on an estrogen blocker and your testosterone long enough, you'll notice that your thyroid readings start to change. Well, next thing you know, you might have to supplement T4 or Android or Synthroid or something like that because your body's not producing the hormones it needs. You mess with one hormone, it will adapt by changing other hormones. There's a balance. When you throw your body out of balance with one hormone, it generally throws your body out of balance with many hormones, some people worse than others. Now, that being said, can artificial sweeteners affect hormones? This is the next part of it. Artificial sweeteners can affect your gut bacteria and impair balance of hunger hormones like leptin and ghrelin, causing an increase in appetite. Sugar is equally bad, though, and can cause hormonal imbalances. So what they're doing is they're saying, look, the artificial sweeteners don't have any calories, but it can cause an increase in appetite and hunger. So that's the part that people have trouble with controlling their hunger, controlling their appetite. right? So they figure, well, I'll have a Diet Coke and I'll, the carbonation, people do this all the time on diets. The carbonation from the diet soda will keep me full. It's an old trick. Well, that carbonation that keeps you full for now, when that aspartame gets in your body and you do it consistently, makes you hungrier in the long run and makes your appetite worse in the long run, more apt to drop your diet in the long run. Does aspartame specifically mess with the hormones? We have concluded that the doses of aspartame do not alter the secretion of prolactin, cortisol, growth hormone, or insulin in normal individuals. Now, my question is this. What is a normal individual? They say normal individuals. What is that in America right now? What is that in the world right now? What's a normal individual? I don't know. Like they say that, and I'm like, well, what does that mean? Anyways, can artificial sweeteners cause mood swings? Aspartame, specifically an artificial sweetener, has been linked to behavioral and cognitive problems. Possible neurophysiological symptoms including learning problems, headache, seizures, migraines, irritable moods, anxiety, depression, and insomnia. NIH.gov. Now, this isn't saying anything about insulin, right? This isn't saying anything about, making you fat or anything like that, but it does say it can increase learning problems, headaches, seizures, migraines, irritable moods, anxiety, depression, and insomnia. Hang on. So you're telling me we have a really bad problem right now in America? Anxiety, depression, insomnia is bad too. How do I know this? Well, judging by the fact that on TV, all you see are these I shouldn't say all, but many of these drugs you see advertised on TV are for anxiety, for depression, and for insomnia. They're plastered all over the TV. Why would you be marketing something on TV if it wasn't a big enough population where you can make a bunch of money off of it? If it was something that wasn't that big of a deal and it wasn't that widespread, you wouldn't see advertisements on TV. They advertise it on TV because so many people are suffering from these afflictions that they're going to seek out medication to fix themselves. Where I'm not saying aspartame is what's doing it, but I'm saying clearly right here, NIH.gov states that aspartame, and they're not saying taking too much, they're saying regular use. They're not saying you got to drink a gallon of this shit. They're saying a couple of these things a day over a period of time can increase learning problems, headaches, seizures, migraines, irritable moods, anxiety, depression, and insomnia. All of those things it's caused, and they have proven it. So they know neurophysiological symptoms of aspartame. That's what they're studying. And then you go over to Diet Coke and Diet Soda. They use Diet Coke, but Diet Soda in general. Anything with aspartame, it says, Diet Soda, does Diet Coke or Diet Soda mess with your hormones? This, again, is on NIH.gov. Diet Soda has its own serious health effects. Again, you're not searching the right terms, so you're going to find so much stuff. And the people that claim to be scientists and science people, they only search one thing. Why not reword it to try to find out more? Like, I don't know why it's always about calories and gaining fat and insulin. There are other things that happen to your body. What do you think happens if you get fucking learning problems? Well, you're going to get stressed out in life, right? Because you're not learning properly. I mean, I went through that when I was younger. Dyslexia and ADD together, it's fucking hell. All right? So if you're one of the people that only care about how you look, learning problems, you're fucking up everywhere else around you, at your job, at work, at school, whatever you're doing, because you have trouble learning. That's going to cause more stress. And guess what? Stress is going to cut into your gains. Like, if you're all about just the vanity, it's going to cut into your gains, right? You have problems with headaches. Who the fuck wants more headaches? Seizures, migraines. Migraines fucking suck. Irritable moods. A lot of people are irritable nowadays. That affects your family. It affects you. It affects work. It affects your kids. It affects everything. Anxiety affects you in your entire life. Everything that you do. Depression affects everything you do. Insomnia affects everything you do. Because when you don't sleep, you get up in the morning and you're not rested, and you have to go continue that day, and you're just looking forward to coming home. You're like, I don't even care what the fuck happens today. I just need to get home and get to sleep. And then you can't sleep again because of insomnia. That rolls into the next day. As that continues day to day, it fucks you up worse than if you were just eating more calories. It's getting you to the point where you fucking don't even want to function. You will get depressed. You will get anxious from the insomnia. It's awful. Anyways, these things to me are even worse than gaining weight or secreting insulin. But, to each their own. It says, Diet Soda has serious health effects. Research has shown that tasting something sweet triggers your appetite and prepares your body to receive calories. Digestion starts where? In the mouth, not your stomach, right? But when those calories aren't delivered, it throws off the essential hormonal responses that keep your metabolism stable. Hang on, let me read it again. If those calories are not delivered, meaning you're getting something sweet and you're figuring, oh, it's helping with my sweet tooth and it's filling me up with the carbonation, throws off essential hormones, may not be insulin, but essential hormones, hormonal response that keeps your metabolism stable. So now you have a problem with your metabolism, meaning your body doesn't function optimally or properly. This again, NIH.gov. And we're sticking to specifically to websites that are legit. All right, because there's a lot of other stuff on here that talks about insulin secretion and how aspartame does do that. But I don't know if they're reputable websites. You know what I mean? They're like, it's like foodhealth.com. I don't know who the fuck foodhealth.com is, so I'm not going to listen to them. Not saying they're wrong, not saying they're right. I'm saying I can't confirm what their information is, so I'm not going to throw it up there. The idea is to give you the best form of information. Now, what I just said about essential hormones being thrown off, this study came out, or this meta-analysis was January 19th, 2022. So many of you haven't seen this. You wouldn't find this unless you were looking for it. It won't show up until years from now where it pops up in the fucking Google search, the search engine. So you're not searching the new things that are coming out that are taking these IIFYM crowd, turning it on its fucking ear, and everything that they're saying is being flipped and going 180 in the reverse. These new studies that are coming out, meta-analysis, are showing that these sweeteners are harmful, even in low doses, if used regularly. 1 can of fucking diet soda is what they use in some of these studies, and it is affecting people negatively. But what they do is they write off all these symptoms. They go to the doctor, they start testing, all the crazy shit. Realistically, you're putting it in your body, and that's why they're not figuring out what it is. They're thinking something is off hormonally, and they're like, we don't know what's wrong. Could be Hashimoto's, could be this, could be that. Realistically, it's shit you're putting in your body that's causing that reaction. Now, this one's a big one, NIH.gov, right? Long-term effect on aspartame on male reproductive system, NCBI. Hang on. This is the question for many people out there that are into the gains, right? The gains train. Do sweeteners lower your testosterone? Aspartame affects the Leydig cells, which induces a considerable decrease in testosterone level and consequent dysfunction of serotonin cells through impairing their physiological activities, leading to oxidative stress by increasing cellular apoptosis. Anyways, it's early on Sunday morning, guys. So the take home is NIH.gov, a long-term effect of aspartame. And when did this one come out? This one was, I don't see the date on it. Okay, this one was 2021. Now, aspartame, based on NIH.gov, peer-reviewed studies, right? I'm not going to say that NIH doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Sweeteners lower testosterone. Don't we have a testosterone problem in this country? Haven't you noticed the low T commercials? There was no low T commercials when I was a fucking kid, and steroids were absolutely legal. You can get Deca fucking prescribed to you when I was a kid. They didn't advertise shit. Men weren't going on testosterone at fucking 30 years old, 25 years old, back when I was a kid. Fucking, they never went on testosterone. Their levels were good until they were like 50s or 60s. Then it fucking didn't matter, right? Now, they're talking about, shit, these sweeteners lower testosterone. Hang on a second. So you got people that are walking to the doctor with low testosterone at a young age, and they're getting put on TRT at 25, 30 years old, some people even younger. And it's consistent enough to have enough people where you can measure something is going on. Something has changed. These are not numbers that gradually went up. They spiked. When did they spike? Go back and look at the diet sodas. All these energy drinks, diet energy drinks. These fucking kids are drinking tons of diet energy drinks, right? They're taking supplements like ours are not. Ours is sweetened to sucralose. It's not aspartame. They're taking different supplements, different drinks that all have aspartame in it, and they're all having, not all, but many of them having a low testosterone and having hormonal problems early in life. Now, there are a lot of hormonal disruptors out there in different products where soaps, detergents, air fresheners, there's a lot of things, deodorants, there's a lot of things that disrupt hormones out there, and aspartame is one of them. Now, I'm not saying cut aspartame out, switch your deodorant. I'm not saying any of that shit. I'm not telling you to do anything different. I'm telling you you're being duped into thinking you're putting something in your body that does something that you don't know. Because you're listening to these people that don't care. They really don't care about the information. They care about keeping that diet soda in their diet. They care about keeping that diet soda in their clients' plans so they can keep them happy, so they keep paying them. They don't care about your health, or otherwise they'd be talking about this shit I'm talking about right now. I care about what I put in my body. I'm careful about what I put in my body. I wasn't always that way, but the more I learned and the older I got, the more I understood. Whereas I think a lot of these guys, even though they're getting older, they don't want to learn. A lot of people don't want to learn. They just want to be told something. They want to be told by, okay, this is how it works. Okay, cool. What if you delved into the things I'm doing right now? Hang on, right? Check this out. Another part over here. We have, this was on today.com via the NIH.gov, right? Well, this is part of the 11 surprising causes of anxiety that they did a report on. Do sweeteners make you anxious? The fact that dyes and artificial sweeteners are neurotoxins that can disrupt normal nervous system function, which goes back again to the neurophysiological things that they're seeing, right? Seizures, headaches, nervous system function, leading to increased symptoms of anxiety. Aspartame specifically, well, not aspartame, but they're saying artificial sweeteners are neurotoxins and dyes are neurotoxins. Aspartame specifically has been linked to learning problems as well as seizures and anxiety. But they're saying all sweeteners in general, artificial sweeteners and dyes, are neurotoxins. Now, we don't take enough of them, Jerry. Fuck off, all right? Because you don't know, based on a study that was done fucking 25 years ago when they put 30 people on a fucking thing and all of them were fine, you don't know how people's bodies react nowadays. People are more unhealthy than ever nowadays. They're medicated more now than ever nowadays. And you're telling me that these people who abuse everything, they abuse everything that is out there, and they abuse sweeteners also, that they're abusing the fuck out of this shit, and they have high anxiety, and it's not even one of the possible causes of it because they don't even think about it. It gets labeled as genetic, it gets labeled as situational, it gets labeled as everything else. Meanwhile, they're pumping this shit in their body that causes that, right? Hang on. What are the side effects of artificial sweeteners? How does aspartame affect your body? Authors of this is healthline.com via, it was another website that put it up. Authors of 2017 review concluded that aspartame may affect the immune system. As a result, it may lead to oxidative stress and inflammation. Hang on a second. So it affects your immune system, right? If you have an immune system that isn't functioning properly, not only will you get sick more, not only will you have disease more, but your body's not going to grow optimally. It's not going to burn fat optimally. The more fucked up your immune system is, you have to have an immune response to the training and the diet. Like, if there's no immune response to it, your body doesn't respond the same way. It's not optimal. So just taking it from that vanity standpoint, what I'm talking about right here will slow your gains, but it causes inflammation, right? Their findings suggested that aspartame could affect the cells of various body organs, including the brain, the heart, the liver, and the kidneys. All of this shit is online for you to find if you dug and knew how to use the right words. There are Google warriors out there that don't know how to use this shit. I mean, I'll type in a full fucking paragraph in Google to make sure I get all these fucking words in there, and it pulls up everything that I'm looking for, and I'll dig 10 pages deep to see what's going on. Like, Google is not 1 or 2 pages. Google is not a couple words. Google is not to make your life faster. It's made it to be easier to get information. Not necessarily faster, meaning like you get done with it faster. You can get more information. Matter of fact, when you start Googling, you should be here longer because you find more and more and more shit you weren't even aware of as you use the right words. Does Diet Coke have increased estrogen? Check this out. So they designed this analysis to study how drinking soda might affect hormones. Women who drank more than a cup of regular soda, not diet soda, per day had higher levels of estrogen than those who drank less regular soda, diet soda, or fruit juice. So what they're saying is the regular sodas absolutely 100% do increase estrogen and disrupt hormones. So that's regular sodas, right? Now that on top of the fact that they're finding out this aspartame, which is in the diet sodas, affect it very similarly. Now they didn't say estrogen rose. That was just one thing that I wanted to throw in there. They do have like symptoms if you've had too much aspartame. Breathlessness, elevated blood pressure. Guess what's big in America right now? High blood pressure, which leads to fucking kidney failure, heart disease. High blood pressure. How many people are medicated for blood pressure? Shitloads. Okay, hang on. High blood pressure and skipping or racing heartbeat are all symptoms of aspartame toxicity. Gastrointestinal symptoms are present also. People often experience upset stomach, diarrhea, abdominal pain, painful swallowing when using aspartame as a sweetener. So there are reactions that people get from having too much or just taking 1 can of soda. They'll have these reactions too. But the problem is it's happening to enough people where they can do meta-analysis and full-ass studies, right? There is also one that says, does aspartame cause weight gain? This one is on Medical News Today. It says some research indicates that even acceptable daily intakes of aspartame, as regulated by the United States Food and Drug Administration, might make you hunger and lead to weight gain because it disrupts the hormones. It has nothing to do with insulin per se, but if you take something that makes your body hunger and sends that signal to your brain, you're going to have a harder time fighting off those fucking cravings. So in closing, I wanted to make this a short video so more people watch it, because after 15 minutes, a lot of people just click off. But hopefully this video is interesting enough with enough real information that give you guys a little bit of insight to say, you know what? I'm going to go start researching this shit on myself. Like, use different words. Don't use, do sweeteners increase insulin? Use, do sweeteners fuck with hormones? Because you got a lot of hormones in your body these things can affect, not necessarily insulin. And affecting those hormones will do just as much bad shit, if not worse, than if it affected insulin to begin with. Regardless of whether insulin is the mechanism, whether glucagon is the mechanism, whether fucking whatever's the mechanism, something in these sweeteners, artificial, I don't know, they're called artificial sweeteners, but anyways, we'll talk about that another time. But the whole point is these things can lead to weight gain, and they always say, like, used properly. Well, what the fuck is that? It's a soda. It's a fucking can of soda. Used properly. Who the fuck decides what used properly is? 1 can, half a can, 5 cans, 10 cans? Who decides that? It's probably different for every person. So how the fuck can you make a blatant claim like sweeteners are safe and they don't affect you in any negative way when they affect everybody fucking differently, and shitloads of people are getting sick from them, not even knowing they're sick from them, enough that scientists have studied the fuck out of this, and in 2022, they're coming back around looking at this shit more. Because what they're finding is they were like, fuck, we were wrong. This stuff does fuck people up. Mark my fucking words, like many other things that I've said in the past, in the future, we're going to find out that a lot of these things, these sweeteners, these natural sweeteners, are causing symptoms that are keeping us unfucking well. And if you trace it back, if you take a timeline and trace it back to where artificial sweeteners were introduced, just like the no-fat craze, right? The super low-fat, no-fat, and they fill everything with sugar, right? We saw a fucking spikes in obesity with that. Why? Because everything was loaded with sugar. They took the fats out of it and loaded it with sugar, and everybody thought it was okay to eat. We're going to find the same exact graph, same exact type of fucking launching pad, that when we switched to fucking more sweeteners and people started consuming those, the headaches, the anxiety, the depression, the gut bacteria problems, all of that shit started to fucking shoot off like a rocket on that fucking graph. And I'm looking at it going, and nothing's going on, huh? Why is nothing going on? Because these people who really, they call themselves scientists, they may even have a fucking degree. It doesn't fucking matter. If your mind is not open to every fucking possibility because it hasn't been fucking found yet, that's a scientist. When your mind is closed because you're only seeing what you're fucking looking at that you've been told or scientists have already found, that's not a scientist. That's some motherfucker reading shit off the goddamn screen that's trying to fucking fight a point that they don't have. They don't have a leg to stand on, because every day science finds something new. Every day science finds a new species we thought was fucking extinct. It's here. We find new species we didn't even know about. We find that we know so little about the human body, and these people act like they fucking know everything. These science people act like they know fucking everything, especially in the fitness industry, about the human body. You know this fucking much. You know this fucking much about the body, and you're claiming to have all the answers. Well, I hope you're happy, because the things that you're saying and doing are fucking people up. The things you're saying and doing are keeping people unwell. You want people to be well, you want to help people, get them to think for themselves, research for themselves, and then go outside of the fucking box and find all the real literature, the real science, the real studies, the real doctors, the real scientists doing the real work, and feed that to them like I just did. BioSearching@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BioSearching.com is a vlog. So sweeteners are not that good for you, bicep. And we are out.